right. Well, happy Friday evening. I am coming on here just to introduce myself, introduce the Traveling Black Women Network. We are finally growing on YouTube, and I wanted to make sure that I just reach out and connect, introduce who I am, the face behind the Traveling Black Women Network. Although I'm sure you see my face in all the videos. So I'm Dr. Nadine Duncan, the founder of the Traveling Black Women Network. And next year, we're going to ramp it up a little bit. This year, we had our very first year of a travel calendar. So we had one trip per month, and it really was to gauge information to see who's interested in what are people signing up for, what are people actually going to go on. And it was a rough year because people were not really sure about travel. Even on my Peru trip, I had what 12 people on that trip, 13 originally. I'm sorry, wait, no. I have 14 people on that trip originally, and only 13 came because one person was still a little bit iffy about just the climate and traveling and things like that. So, it's been a rough year in that case because I had plenty of people signed up for every trip that we had from April all the way to December. And just a few really were like, all right, I'm ready to go. On the other hand, there was a lot of people that was like, I'm still not really sure yet. So, just keep me posted. So next year, we are going to do one trip per quarter. So that way we can really have some time to just kind of talk about people's fears, talk about their concerns, all of that good stuff. So our very first trip of the year is going to be to Japan in January. And I am so excited. That is the only trip that's open to book right now. There's already several people on that trip, so it's going to be closing pretty soon. But that's going to be our first trip of the year. And I'm super excited about that one because things are already in motion and we getting ready to go. It's going to be a little bit of an Aquarius celebration because just about everybody on the trip, with the exception of me, because I'm a Libra, is an Aquarius. But all of my closest friends and family are, not all, but a good chunk of them are Aquariuses. So this should be a really nice trip. Then in the spring, for spring break or that first week of April, we are going to Vietnam. And I'm really excited about that trip because I've been wanting to go to Vietnam forever. Getting your nails done. And, most of the time the people are from Vietnam and they're talking and they're sharing some of their experiences and, all of that. And I can't wait to go in there and be like, y'all, I'm going for real. I wasn't just talking to you to talk to you. Like, I'm really going to Vietnam. So hopefully, that'll be a really nice, not hopefully, it will be a really nice trip. So that's second up. Third, for our summer trip, we are going to Jordan. So it's going to be hot. It is definitely going to be hot. But we're traveling during shoulder season. And basically what shoulder season is that time right before high season or after high season and before low season. So it's like that in-between time. So it's not quite as busy as the high season, but things aren't like closed and kind of shutting down at low season. It's kind of right in the middle. And that usually is a good time to get better deals and things like that. So we'll be heading to Jordan in June, which is generally their shoulder season. It's getting hot. So their tourists are kind of like, okay, I'm good off of Jordan for right now for the summertime. But for us, it's going to be a good opportunity to kind of get in there before the crowds or after the crowds rather. So, and then our fall trip is to Mauritius. And I am super excited about that because that is going to be my birthday trip of the year. That trip is for social club members only. The reason being that is because it's my birthday trip and I'm still going to be planning my birthday trip. I still want to make sure I have a good time. It can be sometimes difficult to plan for brand new people. So if you're in a social club and we've already been having conversation, I kind of have an idea of who you are, you have an idea of who I am, then it's an easy gel, right? It becomes a great atmosphere to be in. It's not just like, hey, I popped up, I saw you online, I'm here, and we don't really know each other's personalities enough to know if it's going to be a great trip or not. So when it comes to my birthday, I'm very protective about that. So, people that are new in my life, I would like to have known them for a little while before bringing them on board to my birthday. And then of course, invites who are for people who are not in the social club, but definitely close to my heart in some kind of way. Family and friends would definitely still be invited. So that's what that October trip is. So those are our 4 upcoming trips for the year. Super excited about them because now I'm just kind of like, okay, where are people really wanting to go? A lot of conversation is about going to different places in Africa. This year we had several trips to Africa that we had tons of signups for, but only one trip actually took off the ground, and that one was Madagascar. And y'all, we had a ball. Madagascar is beautiful. Nosy Be, beautiful. And I feel like it's so underrated. So glad that we had the opportunity to do that, but we still got Zambia to go back to. We still got Zimbabwe to go back to. We still got several other places that we need to go ahead and check out. So those will be back on the calendar 2027. All right, so let's look at some other stuff that I wanted to go over tonight just to kind of introduce you to the Traveling Black Woman Network. So I talked about the trips. That's the main thing that we have going on in 2026, but we still have our social club. Our social club is available for you to sign up, join for Black Friday. It's going to be 50% off. So if you're on our mailing list, you're going to get that email as well as that discount code. So make sure you're on our mailing list. I think all the information is down at the bottom. It's a whole long list of different links and things like that you can click on and just kind of like find your way around. Like go down. This is a good rabbit hole to go down. The Traveling Black Woman Network is like a rabbit hole of just different travel resources that you can just go down. The biggest thing is they just haven't been circulated a whole lot. So now this year we are going to work on circulating these resources, making sure that you're aware that they exist and making sure that they're available to you. So whether you want to travel with us, whether you just want the resources to travel by yourself, whether you want me to plan a trip for you, we could do all of that. Okay. So it's not about like, oh, hey, we're a travel group. You have to hurry up and only travel with us and da 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 da. No, you have your options, because my main goal is that you're out there and you're traveling. So whatever that means to you, whether that means like, hey, I just need your help for like 20 minutes to help me travel, to help me plan this. Cool, no problem. Hey, I want to go on a trip with y'all. I want to have a good time. Like you've seen my Peru content. You see, I have a whole playlist of like trips that we've done together, Mozambique, all of that. You see how we vibe, like how we roll together. It's very family oriented, very close knit. You know, that whole like small group vibe is pretty much what we do. I don't like a lot of large groups. You know, it's a lot to handle. It's a lot to make sure that people are comfortable. So my sweet spot is somewhere around 12 to 15. So you'll probably see groups for about 8 to 10, because then if that happens to get a little bit bigger, such as the Peru trip, because that started at 8 and then we ended up with 14. But if it happens to get a little bit bigger, you know, there's always space for that. So my sweet spot is a max of about 15. I did do 22 back in the day in Bali, and it was still cool. But, you know, it's still a lot to manage. You know, it is still a lot to manage. And, you know, you want to make sure you have a good time, too. At least I do. So that's the trip. So that's a social. So we got the social club. We got the Facebook group. The Facebook group is absolutely free. So right now, the Facebook group has about 20 some odd thousand people in it. And the problem with that is most of that group grew from 2015. So there's almost like no engagement now. So now I'm trying to like pull that engagement back, get people talking, get people asking questions, that kind of thing. So if you're not interested in the social club, which is a paid group, the Facebook group is completely free. So if you jump in there, you start talking, you start connecting with people, like, hey, you know, ask questions. People answer each other all the time. Like, hey, what's a good hotel in this area? You know, sometimes I might put my resources in there if I have some ideas. If I don't, somebody else might answer. You know, one of the things that I love about having these groups is that I know that I'm not the expert on everything. Now, I've been to 69 different countries, but there's always someone that knows a little bit more than me, and I'm happy to allow them to answer before I do. Like I do not have that type of ego where I feel like I know everything, because I don't. But I do like to be the person that like connects resources and make sure you have what you need to go where you want to go. Let's see. So what else? I talked about the trips. I talked about our groups. Our other resources. So we have a blog. We have this YouTube channel that has plenty of videos. So again, like I said, like circulation hasn't been great. So now I'm like, all right, what else can I do to make sure that people understand what we have available? They can see it. They can reach it. Some is free. Some are to be bought. You know, so we have travel guides. We just had a new travel guide come out on Spain. So that should be really nice. We just released that one in September. Our author, Cameron Kinlow, she actually spent some time living in Spain as a volunteer. So we have a podcast episode that's on volunteering abroad that she's actually talking about her experience, like living with the family and just kind of like figuring out what this family life is like after, you know, being a New Yorker, you know, like fast paced, go, go, go. And then now being somewhere where it's just not that. So great experience. She wrote the Spain guide based on that experience. All our guides are based on a narrative experience. So they're not going to come out like, these thick guides that look like an encyclopedia. They're very small, handheld, like, hey, y'all, this is my experience, woman to woman type of thing. They're written by several different authors. The first iterations of all the guides were in 2019. So they're a little bit dated in terms of COVID, but then some of them have also been updated to the second edition where we kind of address some of the COVID things. So check that out on the website as well. We have 13 guides so far. Spain makes 13, but we have Iceland, we have Jamaica. Jamaica was our very first one. Actually, Jamaica was our second one. Our first one was Dubai, which is a really good one. It has a lot of resources about what you should and should not do. So it's always crazy when people like pop up like, oh, this happened in Dubai. And I'm like, oh, there are resources to tell us what we should and should not do. Explain what Sharia laws are, all the things, I lived out there for 3.5 years. So when I came back, I wrote that guide because people were completely wrong about what to expect. It was either something crazy, like, oh man, they beating women, all like just crazy stuff. Or it was like, I don't know if I should go, or if I go, I'm just gonna, do what I want because I got this right and that right. And it's like, no, your rights kind of stop when you get off the plane, your American rights, that is. So that book is actually really good to just kind of figure out, how you want to navigate Dubai. We also have a guide on South Africa. That one's a nice little short guide, just kind of like introducing what to do, where to go, that kind of thing. But we have a lot of resources that will allow you to kind of see or plan your own trip. So we have that. So, and then we also have our podcast. So our podcast, I've interviewed several different women. This last season, season 4, I had some time to just kind of yap like I'm doing now, about travel. Like I love talking about travel. It's interesting because a lot of times I sit down, I'm like, well, what do people want to know? Because some things have started to become second nature to me or natural to me that I don't know what others may not know yet. And then being in this space of content creation, being in this space of, watching and working and like just kind of communicating with other travel creators, sometimes you get the idea that people already know certain things, right? And you're like, oh, well, people know that. So it's no point in me talking about that. But then I was on Threads today and somebody was like, I really want to take my first flight. I'm scared about it. And I was just like, dang, there are still a whole lot of people who have not traveled yet. So I definitely still want to touch those people and make sure that you have the resources that you need to start traveling. It feels like the space is oversaturated. It feels like we're all talking about the same things, but there's always these little moments, like I just said with Threads, that remind me that, but no, there's still a lot of people who want to travel and have not yet. So whatever you gravitate towards in terms of what you need, like I said earlier, whether that be the travel group, whether it be somebody planning it for you, or whether it be you just going on your own and using these resources, we got all of that for you. Let's see. I think that's really about it that I wanted to introduce today. So we've got the social club. I told you about the blog. Now the blog on our website is kind of like a nice little blurb of different places to go and visit and experience and things like that. So that's always nice to kind of take a look at. I told you about the podcast. Season 5 is coming and I can't wait. We're definitely going to have some more stories. I have a slightly different approach that I want to use in season 5. So we're going to see how that takes off. I'm excited about it though. I really am excited about it. And then of course, we've got this YouTube page that I am doing my very first live on right now. So that's really about it. So I would say, does anyone have any questions about travel or things that they want to ask and whatnot? But there's a big fat 0 on my screen now. There wasn't 1, and there wasn't 2, and I got up to 3, but now I'm back at 0. So, hey, if you are watching this as a replay, hey, say hey down in the comments. I'm just introducing myself and saying hi. I know that the more that I do these, the more likely I am to get some views going. But consistency is the biggest thing, and that is what I'm learning. It's hard to stay consistent because you don't know what's actually working and what's not. I think sometimes it's easier to stay consistent when you're like, okay, yeah, I know this is working. I can see it moving. And sometimes with social media and not really having control over the algorithm and how it moves, like, you just don't really always know what's working. Sometimes some things are a one-off and you're like, whoa, I didn't know that was going to blow up. And then some things are like, oh man, I really put some work into this and nothing happened. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, so I've given you a nice overview of everything we've got going on, from our trips to our resources to our communities. So please feel free to tap in wherever you are, however you need. And yeah, just be a part of the network. All right. The moment you click subscribe, the moment you click follow, you are a part of the network. All right. And now the best way to make sure that you're staying abreast of everything we have going on is through our mailing list. The mailing list comes out, or the newsletter comes out every Tuesday, and it has a nice little rundown of what's going on, what we've just put out, whether it's been a resource or an announcement for a trip opening up or whatever the case may be. So that's a great place to start. Yeah, I guess that's it, huh? So, well, adios. And it's crazy because this is a live stream, so I can't like go back and like edit as I would usually do on my videos. So thank y'all for tuning in. And if you're watching this as a replay, thanks for coming back around. All right.